What is going on, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer from blueandgold.com with news today of a new commitment for the Fighting Irish. I'm Mike Singer from blueandgold.com, talking here with our football analyst, Tim Hyde. The news of the day, four-star wide receiver Jaden Greathouse announced his pledge to the Fighting Irish on Friday. And Tim, pretty big get for Notre Dame, landing Greathouse over Texas, South Carolina, Oklahoma, three of his finalists right along there with the Fighting Irish. So 6'2", 220 pounds, number 128 overall player, and number 21 receiver per the 2023 on-3 consensus. I mean, all in all, this is Notre Dame's third receiver commitment. It's a pretty strong get. What do you think, Tim?
Well, not only the third, they got three in the top 200, which I think is, it's absolutely outstanding for a program that needs receivers. They didn't just go out and get some, dudes down the street and whatnot. They went out and got three really good football players, nationally ranked, big time offers with all three of these guys, and two out of Texas. They went into the great state of Texas, which is, tons of skill guys, quarterbacks, and they got two outstanding ones with A&M offers, Texas offers, Oklahoma. So it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. He's a heck of a football player.
Yeah, you mentioned Texas recruiting. You also, got Peyton Bowen
Yep.
in this class, the outstanding safety. Notre Dame signed Jadarian Price last year, the running back who, I think was going to play a lot this fall until, he had an injury and he's not expected to suit up. I think the last time Notre Dame signed a player from Texas before Price was 2019. Nana Asafo-Mensah from the Dallas area. So, Notre Dame dipping back into Texas. And Jaden Greathouse playing for Austin Westlake. Cade Klubnik, Clemson, I believe, ended up as a 5-star. That was his quarterback last year. So certainly had some good quarterback play. I mean, I've been to Austin Westlake. I was there in February and was actually there to see Klubnik when Notre Dame was recruiting him really early on in his process. And it's one of the best high schools in the country. I think it's a top 5 program. And Greathouse, highly productive, decorated recruit. Also add Drew Brees went to high school here. I mean, it's definitely some, great talent coming from this school, and Greathouse definitely fits the bill.
Well, yeah, to parlay off of that, Mike, that's what Notre Dame's getting. They're getting a high-end guy who's played at the highest level in Texas football. I mean, we could debate the best football in America. We all know Texas is as good as it gets, no matter who you compare it to. And they are getting a premier wide receiver from one of the premier in-state programs that produces Division I players each and every year. So a great get for Notre Dame, for Coach Freeman, for Coach Stuckey, coming from Baylor, bringing two Texans with them to play in 2023. And with Greathouse, man, they're getting a big dude. You mentioned his size earlier. Some of it, some of his, highlights here are pancake blocking, physical at the point of attack. But his greatest strength is his route running. It's on the mark. You need a 12-yard out, and some of these highlights, he's breaking it right at the marker on the dime with Klubnik. Obviously, he's at Clemson, and top-notch wide receiver. They're getting it. He's going to be one of those guys like Rico Flores coming from Folsom, an outstanding high school program as well. Ready-made guys that could play as freshmen, and Notre Dame's going to need these guys in 23 to come on. And Greathouse, he falls in line with that as a guy ready to play on day one as soon as he shows up to South Bend.
I mean, is there a player comp that comes to mind to you? He's the prototype. And I talked to him before he announced his commitment, discussing his pledge to the Irish. And, I was like, look, I mean, I'm sure Notre Dame's selling you on boundary receiver, and they absolutely are. Yeah. Just Chase Clay, is that like a fair, he seems to follow in that kind of mold.
Yeah, when you get those big bodies, the Claypool on the outside edge, and he's just big. I mean, you see Greathouse is just his lower body, the strength he brings. He's going to be a physical after he catch and runs with the ball. I mean, the best receiver Notre Dame has signed in a long time is Michael Floyd, who's a 5-star. But the way some of these routes on this film, he was the first guy I thought about. I love Greathouse's body language. He reminds me a lot of Floyd, just by body language, the way he plays, the physicality. Michael Floyd would knock the heck out of you in the run game. And then he would go up at the highest point and go get the ball, which Greathouse does in some of these films as well. But Claypool, physicality, Javon McKinley, another guy who played the boundary. McKinley was highly ranked coming out of Corona Centennial as well a few years ago. Those big boundary guys go up, get the ball. Greathouse is going to be that guy, and he shows it in film. He's not just a slant guy. He's going to go up top, go up and get the ball in a lot of these film. And dying to see what he does his senior year, because it's a great high school that produces a lot of points, a lot of skill guys, a lot of quarterbacks historically, and curious to see who's going to be his quarterback this year.
Yep, see the On3 comparison page here. You got a couple of sites seeing him as top 100 player, and then two more seeing him right around 200 nationally. But I mean, look, guys, he's an outstanding receiver prospect, and I love production. Give me production over projection. Projection is nice to see the talent that could be there and project what it could be. But Greathouse, and the same was with Rico Flores. It's like you see these guys on tape, you're like, I know exactly what you're going to be at Notre Dame. Braylon James, I don't think he had the best quarterback play at Del Valle last year. He transferred to Stony Point in Round Rock, Texas. So, hopefully, we can see, more production out of James this fall. But that three-man receiver group, Greathouse, Braylon James, we just talked about there, and Enrico Flores from Folsom, Northern California. I mean, it's one. And if Notre Dame's able to land Ronan Haniff, and that one's TBD, well, let's just stick with these three that they have committed now. I mean, it's an outstanding receiver class.
Oh yeah, I mean, they've had some great. They've been able to get two in the last few years with Styles and Colsey in the top 200. You had McKinley, Claypool, Lindsey and Austin were ranked in the top 200. And then Boykin and EQ St. Brown, the two big, tall ones outside. But you're getting three in the top 200. So Braylon James brings athleticism, track speed, hurdles, fast. He's going to play that wide side and boom, force teams to go get over there. Greathouse, physicality in the boundary. And then when you and I talked about Rico,
love him in
that slot.
Love him.
And what you're getting here is out of those three, two premier route runners in Greathouse and Rico Flores. And then James has some elite Texas speed on the outside, and he's tall as well. And you round that all out with a heck of a tight end coming from De La Salle and Cooper Flanagan. And it's exciting four-man group right there with the three receivers and tight end. Plus, how about the tailback, who half of his film is screen, swing passes, and Jaden Lamar. You got some dudes that could catch the football coming here to South Bend.
Yeah, I've been singing the praises of Chancey Stuckey, and he's doing fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, Rico Flores. I mean, what do you want to look at? Like, stats, offer list, rankings. I mean, whatever. I mean, these guys have it. I mean, they're big time. Flores, top 3. Georgia, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Braylon James, offers from Texas, A&M, LSU, USC, list goes on. And then Jaden Greathouse picking Notre Dame over, Texas and Oklahoma. Notre Dame dipping into not only Texas, but Austin and beating out the Longhorns for 2 players in Braylon James and Jaden Greathouse. Impressive wins for Chancey Stuckey, Tommy Reese, Marcus Freeman, and that Notre Dame staff.
Yes.
Del Alexander, I don't think he was as bad as he's made out to be, but clearly was not getting the job done. I mean, he left the receiver room pretty depleted for Chancey Stuckey, but Stuckey's coming in and really hitting the ground running. So any thoughts on Stuckey before we get out of here, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, well, the first guy he contacted, in the first 10 minutes he got hired, was Braylon James.
And
he says, that's got to be our guy.
First visit to Braylon James and Jaden Greathouse's school, and 2 for 2.
The first guys he went after, and Greathouse was always that, flip a coin. Is it going to be Texas because it's down the road and the high school he's at and things of that nature? Sarkisian, recruiting his tail off out there. Does the Arch Manning bring him in? And Notre Dame stayed on him and just kept going. And And another quick shout out, Coach Stuckey obviously was at Baylor a year ago, but 4 Texans coming. I mean, Notre Dame hasn't dipped into Texas. They do every now and then, but it's been a long time. As I was telling you earlier, it's since our good friend Mike Goolsby in 2000 is the last time Notre Dame brought in this many Texans to South Bend. And the guys are getting from Texas her 4 outstanding football players. I mean, one of the premier safeties, Micah Bell.
Yeah,
Come on. He's got to be top 3 speed in the entire country. And now you're getting 2 great receivers. So, Coach Stuckey's been on those guys from day one, and awesome recruiting by
yeah.
Coach.
What are we talking about? Notre Dame needs playmakers on the
Yes.
outside, and you get Peyton Bowen. He has safety, but he's
Yeah.
going to be making plays all over the field. Notre Dame needs to hold on to him. Of course, those SEC, Oklahoma schools are not slowing down.
Yep.
And then Micah Bell, Braylon James, and Jaden Greathouse, Texas. So Notre Dame needing that talent and not getting Texas players, and now they're getting Texas players and that talent. So
It's an effort. As you know, Mike, it's effort, and they're putting in the miles, the effort. I remember going back to some of your reporting when they're on the road, how much time they spent in Texas in that early part in January. So it's going to pay off as 2024. They're after a ton as well. So it's a great state to recruit.
All right, folks. You should hit the thumbs up on this video because I know you liked what you saw in this video because Jaden Greathouse commitment. Absolutely huge for the Fighting Irish. So make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you haven't for more coverage of Notre Dame football. You can also go over to blueandgold.com, $1 for 1 year of premium access to sign up. That deal is still currently going on at the time we recorded this. So appreciate you guys, and we will catch you next time.